Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So I had the chance to watch the film with the mob. And today is Monday, so you know what that means. It's Tell the Truth Monday. And there are a lot of truths to tell today. Disappointing effort, obviously, when you don't win. And, you know, I saw a comment that resonated with me on the video that I uploaded, either the one on Saturday that I did, kind of reacting to the players' reaction in the locker room, or the Friday episode of CNN, 11.5. I can't recall which one of the two it was, but someone in the comment section, one of the viewers, left a comment essentially saying that they felt like one of the reasons fans were kind of flipping out was because of the shock of 2 losses in 5 days. You essentially go 2 months into the season and you lose 2 games in 2 months. And then in a span of 5 days, you drop 2 contests and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? It's kind of a shock to the senses. And you know what? There's probably some validity to that. You know, you lose 2 games in 5 days and the sky's falling. But you know, that still to me doesn't justify a lot of the behavior of some of the members of this fan base. Again, it's a small, very minute portion of this fan base, so I don't want to really harp on that. But I was watching DQ's press conference, and I have this really bad habit of, while I'm listening to the press conference, watching the live chat in the corner. And, you know, there's always at least 3 or 4 people in there just spewing all kinds of negativity, to the point where I'm now going to start watching the press conference with the live chat off. I don't even need to see that anymore. It's so ridiculous. And then so many people spend so much time, instead of listening to DQ and what he's saying, you're in there fighting battles with people who are ignoramuses or not even fans of this team, but posing as a fan of this team, just coming in to be an agent of chaos, and you're allowing yourself to fall into the trap. I generally distance myself from that type of tomfoolery. So I'm just going to not watch the live chat, right? But I was with the mob today watching the film. And it's games like Thursday that are so important to watch the film. I know it sucks after a loss to have to relive it again and watch the things that didn't go well. But it is, to me, imperative that you do that, not just in the victories when things are going well, but in defeat. I think it's more important so that you don't fall into the trap of low-hanging fruit, false narratives, and agendas that people are trying to push. Now, you can formulate your own opinion if you've watched the film and you come to a conclusion, whether it's the right one or not. It's still your opinion. You watched the film, and so you can have your own opinion, right? It's the people who don't watch the film that want to have these grandiose opinions that they either got from someone else or they're just making up stuff, right, off the TV copy, which to me is not accurate. And those are the conversations you need to stay out of, right? Don't allow yourself to be roped into those types of conversations. So I think it is imperative that you watch the film. Whether you watch it with us as a member of the mob or you watch it with someone else, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're taking it in so that you can be properly informed, right? That said, there's a false narrative of Terry was locked down. Somebody, this was really funny to me. Someone said, I guess this is what they're calling it now. Quinyanamo Bay, right? Is what they're calling Quinyon's side of the field. So they laugh at us for calling Jayden Daniels one of them ones. They laugh at us for that. But now this man's got an entire island named after him. Quinyanamo Bay is what they're calling it, right? Oh, man, that's hilarious. So the amount of times, first of all, the safety never left Terry's side, okay? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson never left the left side of the field the entire night. So that's number one. So don't fall into the false narrative of he had Terry one-on-one. He never had Terry one-on-one. They play a lot of zone, right? A lot of different looks. Terry was open a fair amount of times. Jayden wasn't working that side of the field. I didn't love the route concepts that they had Terry running, a lot of deeper routes. The one time they tried to run a slant to Terry, Zach Bond dropped right underneath the slant. Quinyon Mitchell was nowhere to be found. Like, he's playing off in zone coverage. The slant was there, easy to be caught. The safety's racing down. So if we would have thrown the slant, like, they had 3 sets of eyes on Terry most of the night. When it wasn't 3, it was definitely 2. And it wasn't a ton of man-to-man coverage. Okay, so don't fall into that that trap of, oh, he shut Terry down. No, that didn't happen. Right? That's false. We shut Terry down by not getting him the football. That's our fault. Right? That said, the Eagles did a really good job of putting multiple bodies at Terry McLaurin, a bunch of sets of eyeballs on him to make sure that they deterred. Because one thing we know about Jayden is if he's not comfortable, the reason he's only thrown 3 interceptions this season is if he's not fully comfortable with what he sees, he's not going to pull the trigger. Like, the interception that he threw in the game, he was comfortable with throwing that ball because he thought that Noah Brown was going to fight for that football, not allow Reed Blankenship to cross his face and pick it off. Noah Brown starts drifting backwards, falls down on the ground, and allows Reed Blankenship to cut in front of him. Worst case scenario, that ball should have been incomplete because Noah Brown should have been fighting with Reed Blankenship for that football, right? But that's not what happened, obviously. It's a great play by Reed Blankenship to cut him off, jump the route, and pick it off. But Noah Brown can't be fading backwards, falling down on the ground, and allowing that to happen either, right? Not a great read by Jayden Daniels, to be honest. But let's get this straight. Let's get one thing straight. And we're going to talk more about this in the next segment as we go in other news. But the death of Kliff Kingsbury's offense has been gravely overstated. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. We're going to talk about Jayden Daniels' ribs in the injury. Head Coach Dan Quinn spoke about it, towards the top of the press conference today. And we're going to expound upon that later on in the show. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's my 23 cents, if you will, on the subject matter here with what happened in the Eagles game offensively. First of all, let me stress this again. I've said this a bunch. That was a winning defensive performance. If the defense plays that way the rest of our games this season, assuming that the offense is better, because it couldn't have played much worse, assuming that the offense is better, which I'm going to assume, maybe that's wrong on my part to do so, that's a winning formula right there, to have the defense play that way, the offense, like, again, we've had now 11 games we've played this season. Only 2 have resulted in totals less than 20 points. The Bears game and this past game against the Eagles. Like, as a fan watching this team, watching what we've done this season on offense, and I'm throwing the Tampa Bay game out, that was another, just on 20, but that was the first game of Jayden Daniels' career. Minus that performance, the only other 2 performances where we didn't hit the 20-point threshold and cross it was this past game and the game against the Bears. And the game against the Bears, those were self-inflicted wounds. This game, same thing, but it was a much different context, right? This wasn't, oh, man, we had a big play, but it was negated by a penalty like it was against the Bears, right? We had multiple big plays called back by the Bears where we would have scored points. We had a touchdown wiped off the board because we were illegally downfield. We had a wide receiver screen down to the 2-yard line wiped away because we were illegally downfield, right? Like, these are self-inflicted wounds where the big play happened and it was wiped off the board and we had to settle for field goals on those possessions or no points at all, right? That didn't happen in the Eagles game. There were opportunities for those things to take place and we didn't pull the trigger. We didn't make the right decision, right? So I'll go through a few of them. I won't go through all of them, right? But let's just say that the opportunities were there. Let's just say that the defense gave us a chance. Again, if you would have told me before the game started that the Eagles, and I don't care how it happened, I don't care. It's not our problem that their kicker decided to miss 2 kicks. What I can tell you is they couldn't get in the end zone. They were 1 of 3 in the red zone. I will tell you that. Who did that? We did that. Right? I'll tell you that much. We kept them out of the end zone. First time since 2015, week 4 of 2015, they didn't score a first half touchdown. Somebody did that. They didn't do it. There were no busted coverages. There were no wide open receivers. Hurts just missed. That was just good defense. Just good defense. So, Jayden never looked comfortable in this game. Even when he looked comfortable, he wasn't comfortable. And you got to credit the Eagles defensively. I really think he was confused. I think Vic Fangio confused him in this game. And I think you couple that with some of the pressures he had early in the game where he got sacked or he was rushed. And I think some of that played a mental, a role in him struggling in this game. Because the Jayden that we had seen the previous 10 weeks was decisive with the football. Whether for right or wrong, he was decisive. Early in the season, if he didn't like what he saw, he just took off and he ran. And we complained about, hey, you got to stand in there, you got to deliver the football, but at least he made a decision. May not have been the one you wanted him to make, but he made a decision. I can live with that. What I don't really deal well with is indecisiveness. Standing back there with 3 open receivers and just not pulling the trigger on any of them, and then not deciding to run, but standing back there and taking a 4-yard sack. For what exactly? Right? So let's just go through a couple of instances because the Eagles started extremely slow. It's what they do, right? You want to beat the Eagles, your best shot is to jump them early, sort of like Tampa did, right? Because the Eagles start slow. They started slow in this game. We had ample opportunities to run it up on them in terms of scoring points and putting them behind the 8 ball and making them have to play from behind, something that I don't know if they necessarily do all that well, right? We squandered opportunities. So case in point, first possession of the game offensively for the Commanders. They're in a 3rd and we were constantly in 3rd and very manageable in this game and failed to convert. And that's on us. Like, it's one thing if you're in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, you say, look, can't live in 3rd and 9 and expect to convert and beat teams. That's no way to live. We were constantly in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. We were, 3 of 16 or something like that, 4 of 16, whatever the number, 5 of 16, whatever the number was on 3rd downs. It wasn't good, whatever it was. It was horrible. I'd say, I know we had 16 3rd down attempts, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever the number was, we're just going to go with 16. Matter of fact, I don't have to guess. I can pull the number up. Because I hate when I try to guess, and I don't have to do that. I got my mobile device right here in front of me. I'm going to pull it up real quick, and I'm going to tell you, I really think it was 16. No, the Eagles had 16. They were 9 of 16. They killed us on 3rd downs. We were 3 of 12, right? That's loser football, 3 of 12. That's not who we've been all season long. Of those 12 3rd downs, I'm going to tell you that at a bare minimum, 6 of them were 3rd and 4 or less. Probably could have easily been 8 of them. Like, we weren't living in 3rd and extremely long. We weren't. We were in very manageable situations throughout the game. In the first 3rd down of the game, a very manageable situation that we put ourselves in. And we're running a pick concept to one side of the field. And this is the play, if you recall, with Noah Brown running. I guess we're going to call it a deep over route. And Zach Bond dives and breaks it up. It's like he's throwing it into double coverage. It's not a really good decision on Jayden's part. I am 100% sure that the first read on that play is the pick route on the front side of the play. Zach Ertz is flexed out slightly in the slot, and Austin Eckler is sent into motion. We got the dual backfield. We're going to talk more about that here in a second. And Austin Eckler is sent into motion, right? He comes out and he runs a wheel up the sideline. And as he's doing that, the Eagle defender that's covering him in man coverage is blocked. Like literally, Zach Ertz blocks this man. And the corner on the outside who is checking Zach Ertz, Darius Slay, is so like taken aback by the blatant block by Zach Ertz that he's pointing to the official, hey, he can't do that. That's a flag. And Ertz runs and Eckler runs right by him up the sideline. And this is a big play. And I know that's where the ball should have gone. Jayden looks there initially and it comes off of it and goes to Noah Brown. Why he came off of it, I don't know, because this is a 25-yard gain into Eagles territory, and we're off and running on the first possession of the game. And you look at the play and you say, well, Ertz can't do that. Yes, he can. You can block 1 yard and in to the line of scrimmage. He didn't go anywhere. He peeled back, and he was at the line of scrimmage. The play started at the 40. He's blocking this defender at the 40. You can do that. And so Darius Slay is pointing like, hey, and Eckler's running right up the sideline past him, and that's where the ball should have gone. And you're like, bro, what are you doing, right? Why did you come off of that? That was the route. That's what the play was designed to do. That's a missed opportunity, right? That's an easy 25-yard gain to the Eagles' 40, 35-yard line. Now you're in field goal range. Now you're starting the game off with points. Everything that you wanted to do, it was right there. It was set up. It's a great play call by Kliff Kingsbury. Great design. And Jayden, for whatever reason, came off of it. There's a completion that he has to Ertz for a first down on a second down, I want to say it was, second or a third down, where he just runs to the sticks, post up. He's open. Jayden gets it to him immediately. It's a first down. We run that same concept later in the game. Don't ask me why he turns it down. He's wide open, right in front of the sticks. You know, Zach Bond is playing 5 yards off in to his left, right? He's wide open. Corner's been taken out. Terry McLaurin ran a clear out route. There's nobody over there. Just throw it to him. He's looking right over there, and he turns it down for whatever reason. Again, he was indecisive, right? I wish I could tell you why, right? We got a great drive going, okay? Great drive going. And we run a concept that we ran for the touchdown. If you recall, the touchdown to Zach Ertz at the end of the game. You know, we overload one side of the field. You run Ertz on the Texas route, which is an arrow route. Essentially, you run up the field at an angle, and you sharply cut like you're running a slant, right? And you cut into the middle of the field, and you make yourself available to the quarterback. We do this with Austin Eckler. If you remember, this is the 3rd and 4, right? First of all, we were in 2nd and 2 because we were killing them on the ground. Killing them on the ground in this game. And we got into a 2nd and 2, and they called it a stupid-ass quarterback draw that the Eagles sniff out and stop us for a 2-yard loss. So we're killing them on this drive. We had them on their heels, and then we call that dumbass play call. We've been running it. We've been throwing it. We've been doing whatever we wanted on this drive, and then you call that play call. But that shouldn't kill the drive. It's 3rd and 4. It's not like it's now 3rd and 9, right? It's 3rd and 4. I hate the play call. You lose 2 yards when it was unnecessary, when the ground game was working. The ability to get it out into guys' hands in space and get them to get the first out was working. You didn't need to call for the quarterback to keep the ball. The running backs were doing just fine, right? But okay, whatever. 3rd and 4, you still should be able to convert. Kliff calls a beautiful overload of a zone. He sends Eckler out on the Texas route. He cuts over the middle, and he's open, and Jayden is looking at him, and he won't throw it. Don't ask me why he wouldn't pull the trigger. And again, I think he just didn't trust what he was seeing. Right? This got nothing to do with injury or none of that shit. He's open. Put it on his chest. Put it between the 3 and the 0, and it's a first down. He doesn't throw it. Then he backpedals. He panics. Terry's coming across on the shadow cross, and he throws a 110-mile-an-hour fastball right past Terry. Incomplete. We got to settle for a field goal. That was a first down, right? It's those types of missed opportunities. Like you don't want to win, right? Like these opportunities present themselves. You got to take them. Right? So there was a 3. This is the last one, and then we'll move on. All right? Because I don't want to talk you to death. This is why you got to be a member of the mob so you can get all of this stuff. But this is the last thing I'm going to say. We had a 3-play sequence in the first half. We're up 7-0. All right? We're driving for more points. We're we started deep in our own territory, excuse me, and we're moving it. We done got 3 first downs. We've advanced the ball all the way to midfield, and we got them. They're on their heels. They don't know what's coming. They can't stop the run. Jayden is sprinkling in passes to the backs and the tight ends. We got them, right? On first down, we run a boot. This is our first attempt to try to get Terry the ball. We run a boot action to the left. Terry comes across the formation. The Eagles play it perfectly. They take Terry away, right? Bond is standing right there in the flats, you know, to pressure Jayden a little bit. But, you know, I think it would have been the rookie corner, DeJean. He's standing right there for Terry when he comes over. They played it beautifully, right? So he takes Terry away. So Jayden continues to roll out to his left and out leverages Bond. And he you know, he could just keep extending the play. Here comes Dyami Brown across the formation, wide open, right? You see Jalen Hurts do the same thing later in the game where they run a boot. We play it well, and he just allows A.J. Brown from the other side of the field on the shallow cross to clear, and he gets it to him. And it's like a 13, 15-yard gain. Same thing. No, you got Dyami Brown coming across from the backside on the shallow cross, wide open. And instead of him just throwing it to Dyami, he tucks it and runs. No reason to do that because Zach Bond's waiting on you right here. There's nowhere for you to go. It's a gain of 1. All you had to do was just continue to run towards the sideline, and Dyami's wide open. He's coming right into your line of vision. Just get it to him. He panics, takes off and runs for 1-yard gain, right? That's the first play. That's first down, right? So it's 2nd and 9. I'm not tripping. He didn't lose any yards. He didn't take a sack, right? 2nd and 9. We run play action fake beautifully. Noah Brown comes across on the deep over route. He's open. Remember, that's the one he skips to his feet, right? Cooper DeJean is dropping in the zone. You got Darius Slay in chase, but he's not there. He can't get there. Ball put in the perfect spot where it's supposed to be. We've seen him do it all year long. It's a completion. It's 25 yards. We're in field goal range, in the Eagles territory. This drive has been excellent to this point. He skips it at his feet. So you go, oh, shit. It's the second play now. The Dyami Brown play would have been a first down, move the sticks in the Eagles territory. This play would have been deep in the Eagles territory at the 30, yard line or so to Noah Brown, skips it at his feet. Missed opportunity again. Third down, this is the Austin Ekeler play, right? We run the mesh concept. Ekeler comes free. It's just him and Quinyon Mitchell. He's going to have to win a foot race to the sticks. If he doesn't, I think he's going to make Quinyon Mitchell miss because Quinyon has to be on it. He's on a dead sprint trying to catch up with him. All Eck has to do is stop, let Quinyon go by, and he's going to cut up the field. Like we know Eck, that's his favorite move, is the cutback, to stick my foot in the ground and make a guy miss. He does it every week. He was going to do that. And even if he didn't do that, he catches that football, and let's say he tries to race Quinyon to the sticks and he doesn't make it, and he gets tackled 2-3 yards short of the sticks. We're going for it on 4th down at the Eagles' 40-yard line on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. I'll take my chances. Instead, Ekeler drops the football. That's loser football. I mean, what do you want to do, right? When you can't take, that was 3 straight plays, opportunities to get into Eagles territory, put yourself in a position to either score a touchdown, right? Keep the drive going. They were getting tired. Or at least get into field goal range, right? Eagles have struggled. They missed 2 field goals. It's 7-0. You got a chance to build on your lead. That's all you're looking to do. Even if it's a field goal, you're looking to just keep adding points, adding pressure to them, right? Continue to put points on the board while they're struggling. We didn't do it. And I give you one more, right? I said that was my last one. This is the last one. Jayden took a sack on a first down play. He had 3 guys open, wide open. Pick one. Ekeler in the flats, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz in front. Like, you just make a decision, bro. Pick somebody, throw him the football. He stands back there, stares at everybody, doesn't, for whatever reason, scared to pull the trigger, decides he wants to tuck it and run. That's the play where Brandon Coleman gets pushed back by Sweat. I want to say it was by Josh Sweat. He jumps over the pile because initially Sam Cosmi got beat by Jalen Carter, but Cosmi recovers, pushes him by, which is what you do when you get beat. You recover. It's what the good ones do, right? recovered, pushed him out of the way. Now Jayden's got a big-ass lane to run through, but because Brandon Coleman on the backside gets destroyed, I mean, the man literally pushed him with one arm and knocked him back 3 to 5 yards. He's able to jump over the pile created by Jalen Carter getting pushed away by Sam Cosmi, jump over that wreckage and get to Jayden Daniels, who would have had a big lane to run through and get 6, 7, 8 yards and put us in 2nd and 2, 3, at a bare minimum. Now it's a 4-yard sack, but he had 3 guys open on that play. It's that type of stuff that hurt us in this game. And he was indecisive. There's another play. We're not going to go into it. I can keep going. There's so many opportunities, right, that I'm trying to, but that's the frustration when, and I really credited a lot of that to Vic Fangio's defensive scheme. He hadn't seen anything like it this year, right? He hadn't seen anything like it. And so you got to give them credit for playing the defense the way that they did. They played that defense on the string. They gave them different looks. It was man, it was zone, it was cover 3, it was cover 4. If guys coming down look like they're coming, they drop out. And so they were changing his eye level. They were changing things that he was seeing. He was never truly comfortable. And when he's not comfortable, he's not going to cut it loose. And all I ever ask from him is, if you don't like what you see, just go. Tuck it and run. Apply pressure on the defense somehow. And he was hesitant to do that as well. And that hurt him too sometimes. So let's go ahead in other news, right? And we heard from DQ. We're going to dive into what DQ had to say. He started off the press conference. John Keim asked him about Jayden's injury and if his injury is causing his play to somewhat decline here over the last 2 weeks in particular. And remember, after the game, DQ shot down any notion of Jayden's ribs being an issue. I believe him, right? I want to play you a clip from a soundbite from Kaylee Hartung, who was the sideline reporter on Thursday Night Football. This is what she had to say. I want to react to something that we talked about after the game, and then I want to look at this tweet from the 33rd team on X. So we're going to do all of that first. We're going to respond to that. Then we're going to talk about what DQ had to say. And then we're going to talk about Kliff's offense and this, that, and the third. We're going to get into all of that stuff. So let's play this clip, this soundbite from Kaylee Hartung. This was on the Thursday night telecast very early in the game when she described Jayden Daniels' rib injury and some of the issues he's having with them. Take a listen.
Guys, Jayden Daniels told us we may see him grimace in pain when he throws the ball tonight. As you guys mentioned, he's continuing to play through that rib injury he suffered 3.5 weeks ago against Carolina. He admits it's been a challenge, especially in his upper torso rotation. You see him there just before this drive. That's an additional layer of protection. He's wearing a carbon fiber pad under his rib pads. They adjusted it, but he's adamant in telling us there are no limitations.
So that was Kaylee Hartung, right? And I think we all heard that during the game, and we all just shook our head in agreement, like, yeah, he's not right. And, shout out to my guy, Joe Rockhead. After the game, Joe Rockhead said, until he's not getting his ribs bandaged up after every possession, until that's not a thing, he's not completely healthy. I would agree with that assessment, right? If you're good, I'm not going to have to wrap your ribs after every possession to keep them tight and intact, as you sit down on the bench waiting for your opportunity to get back on the field. I'm not going to have to do that after every possession if you're good, right? So he's not 100%. But is that truly affecting his play? So the 33rd team on X tweeted this out after the game. The rib injury Jayden Daniels suffered in week 3 seems to still be impacting him. Daniels, before the injury, 75.3% completion percentage, 107.1 quarterback rating, 0.28 EPA per drop back, and 8.5 yards per attempt. After the injury, completion percentage is just a tick below 60%, 89.6% rating, 0.09 EPA per drop back, and 7.4 yards per attempt. So the numbers across the board are down, clearly. like, yes, the injury definitely has something to do with that because he hasn't been allowed to be himself. I think we got closer to him doing that against the Eagles, right? But also we've played better competition too. You know, we weren't playing the Arizona Cardinals, who at that time, well, they were still a good defense. We just ran over them then. But I bet you if we played Arizona now, they're a much more confident team. They're just same way we felt about Tampa Bay. If we were to play the Buccaneers again, we think the outcome would be different. But they caught us at the right time. We caught the Cardinals at the right time, right? But the Bengals defensively stink. The Browns defensively stink, and we made them look bad defensively. You know, we played some bad defenses. The Ravens aren't great defensively either, you know, and he did some really good things against them. And the bottom line is, over the last month, you played the Bears. That's a good defense. You say what you want about their offense. That's a good Bears defense. We played the Steelers. That's a good defense. I know you watch what they did to the Ravens. That's family business, though, but still, it's a good Steelers defense. And the Eagles are a good defense. We've played better defenses, too. It's not just, you know, it's not just black and white. Oh, yeah, he's playing hurt, and that's why he's struggling. I think there's context to that. But here's what I'll say, all right, as we kind of get back to DQ's presser. Here's what I'm going to say on that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. DQ started off his press conference today by saying Jayden's injury isn't affecting his play at this point. He said that at the end of the day, the lack of reps he's getting in practice might be affecting his play. You know, his inability to be able to go out there, practice on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and get those, you know, full speed reps and to be out there, that is having an effect, he said, you know, because it hasn't been normal since the injury. But I think they're going to get back to some normalcy this week. I could sense that we were getting close because they called design runs for him in that Eagles game. Like, they weren't doing that the previous 3 games since the injury. The Bears game, the Giants game, and the Steelers game, they didn't call design runs for him, right? He wasn't keeping read options. They were staying away from that stuff. In the Eagles game on Thursday, they called design runs for him to make him a threat to keep the football, which forced the Eagles to have to honor that, and it opened up lanes for B-Rob, right, in the run game. So that told me that the injury isn't an issue. And I watched the tape, and I concur. I just think he missed. I just think he short-armed some plays, some throws. I thought some of the pressure that the Eagles applied early in the game played with him mentally. I think some of the different looks that they gave him confused him a bit. It was a good experience for him to see the things he saw because it was his first time seeing that kind of defense, right? The week before against the Steelers, that wasn't anything complex. They just blitzed. They heated him up, and he got hit, and he missed some throws. Like, that's man coverage. He just missed, right? Wasn't like complex like how the Eagles were playing a combination of man and zone and switching up the looks and really trying to confuse him, and they did a really good job. He wasn't hurt. I think people were leaning on that excuse a little bit too much. DQ hasn't lied to us yet. When he told us after the game, no, he's not hurt. Jayden Daniels, look, you heard the Kaylee Hartung soundbite there. Like, he's not 100%, and you'd be a fool to think that he's not affected on some of the throws. Like, when he's got to rear back and let it rip, try to squeeze it into, like, yeah, it's probably affecting him a little bit. But make no mistake about it. He can make every throw on the field. There's no excuses here. He just didn't play well. He's a rookie. That was his 11th start. It happens, right? Credit the defense, and you chalk it up to, hey, man, it's just one of those games, you know, one of those learning experiences. He'll be fine. He'll bounce back. We're good, right? And DQ said today, he's fine. The biggest thing that has really hurt us is we haven't been able to get those practice reps, but that's all about to change, right? Because I told you these 10 days were going to be massive. You got those days out of the way, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday. the Monday, the Tuesday. So that's 5 days off of doing nothing but either physical like weightlifting or watching film, right? Just chilling, rely on your body to recover, get massages and the treatment that you need, things of that nature. And then you hit the practice field on Wednesday. Like that's huge for this team at this point. And I think you're going to see Jayden start to return to where he was. And DQ said, I think a lot of the struggles was lack of practice. And we're hoping to take care of that, with him being able to get back out there on a full basis practice-wise and us get those full speed reps, right? DQ was, asked about the game itself and some of the things that frustrated him. And he said, not forcing any turnovers. We lost a turnover battle. Something we hadn't done in over a month was lose a turnover battle. They got the interception. We didn't get one back. We did force one fumble, but we didn't recover it. And so he's like, that's something. He's like, we didn't break enough tackles and we didn't necessarily tackle as well as we would like to tackle. I didn't think the tackling was porous in the game per se, but we didn't break enough tackles, and then he pointed to, and I think this is the biggest culprit of the night, was the third down. He said, we didn't give our offense enough cracks at it, or the offense didn't give themselves enough cracks at it because they didn't convert third downs. And I told you we were 3 of 12, and that's what really hurt us the most in this game because we were running the ball. I told you we were in third and manageable a ton in this game. 3rd and 2, right? The fourth down, it was 2nd and inches, it was 3rd and 1, and then it was 4th and 2. Like those are all manageable down. That was Kliff's worst sequence of the night, was the 3rd down call and the 4th down call. The 2nd down should have resulted in the 1st down. I don't know what the hell Brian Robinson Jr. was doing there. That should have resulted. There was the offensive line did their job. It was a clear hole for him to get the 1st down, and he decided to go rogue, do his own thing, and ran right into the most dangerous man on the Eagles defense in Jalen Carter and lost a yard. That was on him. That was 2nd and inches. Just get the 1st down, bro. Where are you going? Right? The 3rd and 4th down calls on that possession were the worst of the night. You could argue the 4th down call was the worst of the season. So outside of that, Kliff was outstanding in this game. We should have converted on just about every 3rd down. There was an opportunity for a conversion, and either Jayden didn't take it, Jayden didn't see it, or we didn't protect well enough, or we dropped the ball like Austin Eckler did. Like it was something we did, less of what they did, more of what we did or didn't do. That's frustrating, right? So he said the 3rd downs, like Brian Robinson Jr. rushed for almost 70 yards in this game. Let me get the exact total for B-Rob in this game. Like he was running the ball. Like he was having success, right? B-Rob rushed 16 times for 63 yards. That's almost 4 yards a pop. And the only reason that it's not over 4 yards a carry is because there were 2 or 3 carries in there. The one I just gave you a 2-play sequence where he lost a yard and lost another yard, right? On a 2nd and inches, he went rogue, lost a yard. On 3rd and 1, he lost another yard and made it 4th and 2. Those kill your average. He could have easily averaged 5-6 yards in this game because he was gashing them. And it's unfortunate that he didn't get more opportunities to run the football because we couldn't convert on 3rd downs. That's our fault. Because we were in manageable 3rd down. Because on 1st and 2nd down, he was getting yards to put us in advantageous 3rd down situations, and we didn't take advantage. Kliff's play calling this week, phenomenal outside of that 2-play stretch on 3rd down and 1 and 4th down and 2. I don't know what the hell Kliff was doing. Last week, play calling was phenomenal again. We had guys running wide open all over the field, and Jayden either missed or we dropped the football. So this narrative of Kliff's offense regressing, I don't know what the hell people are talking about. People just are reaching at this point. Just call a spade a spade. We're not executing. We're not playing well. The play calls are there. They were there on Thursday night. The play calls were there last week against the Steelers. This ain't a Kliff Kingsbury issue, folks. Come off of it. We got to play better. And it's not just Jayden. Not just Jayden. We got to play better. Offensive line got to be better. Receivers got to be better. Create open targets for the quarterback. Jayden's got to be better. Jayden has to be better, and he will be. I think we're going to get back to being who we are. And I'll just say this about Kliff. Here's the one thing outside of that two-play sequence. I was very disappointed in Kliff for going away from the dual backfield look. It was killing the Eagles. They had no answers. When we put Eck and B-Rob in the backfield at the same time, that was our biggest advantage in the game. They had no answers for that. And late stages of the third into the fourth, for some inexplicable reason, we got away from it. They had no answers. None. And we got away from it. And I wish I could tell you why. I wish I had the answers as to why they got away from that, because it was so successful in this game. It's something that the Eagles will have to game plan to stop the next time, because I know we're going to come back to it because it worked so well. But back to what DQ had to say. He talked about the defense, right? First of all, let's talk about Marshawn Lattimore, because he talked about Marshawn Lattimore. I know a lot of people want to know about his status, and he said he's trending in the right direction. But make no mistake about it, and when you hear DQ say this, we're not going to miss a mark, right? We're not going to miss anything. That means they're not rushing it. And we've seen that with every single player on the roster. They're not rushing this thing. And I had circled Dallas on the calendar. I'm pushing it back another week. I know you don't want to hear this shit. I'm pushing it back to Tennessee. I think that they want to get him revved up. And DQ said later in the week. I think later in the week, I'm thinking Thursday, Friday. I'm not thinking Wednesday, right? So I assure you he's not practicing on Wednesday. If he does practice for the first time, it'll be Thursday and it'll be limited. That's not going to get you. He's got to be revved up, running full speed multiple times in that week for them to feel comfortable putting him on the field. So I'm going to push it back another week to Tennessee. And at that point, in my mind, I'm like, you might as well just wait till after the bye week at that point. If you're going to throw him out there against Tennessee. But I don't think he's playing against Dallas either. He's trending in the right direction. But I told y'all, it's like having a toy on Christmas and not having the batteries. I get it. You want to play with that new toy, but you got to understand. What you don't want to do is break it. You don't want to break the new toy. Just because you don't have batteries, you don't want it to malfunction. You want to make sure that once you finally get those batteries and you put them in correctly and you start playing with the toy, now it's good and you can have the fun you want to have with it. We don't want him to re-aggravate the hammy and then we're without him. Like, you can wait. We can wait. The defense is getting better. That was the biggest takeaway from the game, is the defense is getting better. I'm worried about Benjamin St. Juice's hamstring. It got tight on him throughout the game. He came out multiple times. Hopefully he's okay. Because we could talk all the shit we want about him, but they have zero confidence. Here's another takeaway. They got zero confidence in Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Like, Benjamin St. Juice went down. They put in Michael Davis. Like, I know they tried to move Emmanuel Forbes at the trade deadline and nobody wanted him. I know it. Because the way they treating this young man now is telling me we have no use for him. No use for him at all whatsoever. But he said Marshawn is trending in the right direction. They hope to get him on the practice field later on in the week. Later on in the week sounds Thursday, Friday-ish to me. They're not going to just throw him in there and then have him go full speed. So I'm thinking limited Thursday. And then Friday they might try to cut him loose if they have any intentions of trying to get him out there on Sunday against the Cowboys. But I think we might be waiting one more week. The Tennessee game might be when he finally hits the field. And my thought process is, if you're going to wait that long, you might as well wait till after the bye week and then unleash him for the final 4 games of this regular season and into the playoffs, right? I know some of y'all are impatient and don't want to wait that long, but if that's the best course of action to have 23 for the remainder of this season healthy, I'm all for it. Whatever's going to get him through the rest of this season and be the player that we need him to be, that's what I'm all for. DQ talked about Dallas week, the importance of, the rivalry, and he talked about, being on the other side of it and all of that good stuff. And he knows what it means. And we want this one bad. We want this one bad. It's Dallas week. And I know they suck right now, and I know we'll all be watching them tonight. And hopefully they get their asses whooped on national television at home again. And then we hope to continue that trend next week. And then, continue to send them into the abyss. But, I personally, I don't care what happens with Dallas as long as we bust their ass. I care less what happens to them. I'm trying to give them a California smile on Sunday, right? Put your damn mouth on the pavement. Shut up. Put your mouth on the pavement. At the end of the day, I'm trying to crush their entire cranium. And that should be the goal of every man in that locker room. He talked about like that proverbial wall that you hit without a bye. He said this is the longest he's ever gone without a bye as a coach in his career. Like he said, we got the latest bye. Remember, when he was the head coach, there was no 18 weeks. It was only 17. There was no week 14 bye. They only extended out to week 13. So this is as late of a bye as you can get. We've had it each of the 3 years of this 18-game schedule, 18-week schedule, 17-game schedule. We've had the latest bye you could possibly have all 3 years, right? We've had the latest bye you could have all 3 years. I assure you we will not have this bye again next year. But it is ridiculous that we've had it 3 years in a row. And DQ's like, yeah, this is the longest I've ever went without having a bye. But he said, you push through. Like, we're not the only team in the league to not have a bye. That's not an excuse. Yeah, we're tired, mentally tired, physically tired, but so are the Buffalo Bills. So are the Cincinnati Bengals. So are all the other teams who haven't had a bye this season. Right? The Bills played on a Thursday. The Bengals played on a Thursday. Like, everybody's got to go through it. The ones that haven't had a bye, you suck it up. You find a way to get it done, right? No complaints, no excuses. That bye may benefit us. I think I'm using it as a positive. I'm a glass half full guy. I'm flipping it on its head and I'm using it as a positive. That late bye is going to recharge the battery for the postseason run. While everybody else is dog tired who had their bye in week 5 or week 6, who doesn't have another bye the rest of the season, we got this late season bye that's going to recharge the battery and send us down this home stretch feeling damn good, ready to kick some ass and take some names. DQ talked about Mike Sainristil and his impact. He said, man, he's coming along. He had hit a little, remember, he had some struggles early in the season. He said, DQ's like, man, he's on the way up, though. I love the fact that he's come through on the other side and he's on the way up. They asked about Jordan McGee, and DQ took the Jordan McGee question and flipped it and said, not only Jordan McGee, Ben Sinnott, these boys are working hard. They searching for opportunities, but they just unfortunately are playing at positions where the guys in front of them are playing really well. And John Bates and Zach Ertz at the tight end position. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. And then at linebacker, obviously Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. He's like, Wagner gave him the side eye when he took him out late in that Carolina game. He said he gave me the side eye for 2 weeks. So he was being facetious, but at the end of the day, Bobby Wagner doesn't like to come out. I can tell you that. Even in the Cleveland game, he didn't come out. I was like, yo, Bobby, it's over. He's like, nah, bro, trying to get these stats up. So it's hard for Jordan McGee to get on the field, right? But at the end of the day, DQ's like, I like where we at. You hate losing the 2 games. It sucks losing, but you got to go through adversity. He said, I wish this was going to be a linear path and the arrow was just going to continue to go up and we keep kicking ass all season, but that's not how it works. You knew it was going to be some peaks and valleys. I told y'all that before the season started. It's going to be a roller coaster. Remember, DQ said we're not buying tickets to the roller coaster. Well, it don't matter if you buying tickets to the roller coaster or not. It's a roller coaster because we're a young team. Adversity has finally hit. We've lost 2 in a row. What are we going to do? How are we going to respond? We're going to find out what this team is made of on Sunday at 1:05 at home. Hopefully they're wearing the burgundy on gold because every time we wear something else, we don't get the job done at home, right? I mean, we've only lost 1 game at home. But the Berg on Bergs, I keep trying to get them opportunities, the Berg on Berg, to get it done. and the Berg on Berg just don't get the shit done. If it were up to me, Berg on gold, any other home game the rest of the season. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. But at the end of the day, DQ's like, this is the group of men that I want to fight with. He said, and I told him a story about, because it's Tell the Truth Monday, about a guy that he was talking about, different checks on the field. And he said, Coach, it's hard to do those through the helmet, right? And he said it changes perspective because you got to do what's good for the players, right? And so he's like, telling the truth is a big part of the brotherhood. You got to be able to tell the dude next to you, hey, that shit wasn't good enough. Got to be able to tell guys the truth. That's what today was about. That shit wasn't good enough against Philadelphia. I expect him to be better. DQ said we're healthier. Obviously, this little break is great for us. We needed it. He said he expects to get full practices this weekend at full speed to get us back to where we were earlier in the season. Looking forward to all of that. And I think this team's going to be just fine. Just fine. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about these next two games, the opportunity to get to that bye week at 9-4, and then come out of the bye guns are blazing, and then you just see what this team is really made of. Defense is improving, and you're seeing all of these things come to fruition, and I'm excited about it, right? So anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Commanders Nightly News. I'll be watching the Cowboys game tonight. I know you will too. Hopefully you'll join me after that game is done, and we'll chop it up and talk about them. That's our next opponent, so you should be watching that game. Also, shout out to everyone that subscribed to the new channel, the Commanders King channel. We will be live tomorrow on that channel tomorrow at 8 p.m. So sub up if you haven't already done so. Ed, Rio, Rico, and myself, Commanders Kings, coming together, giving y'all that content that you guys come to know and love between the four of us. And looking forward to dropping our first vid on that channel tomorrow. And over 1,100 of you have already subbed up. But between us four, we probably have over, and I know there's a number of overlapping, viewers there, but we probably got over 50, 60, 70,000 subscriptions. So we should be able to get more than 1,100 people subscribing before our first video. But I appreciate each and every single one of y'all who, before we even put anything out, said, hey, just off the respect of y'all, I'm going to hit the sub button. If you haven't done it, what are you waiting on? Hit that sub button there. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And I look forward to chopping it up with you guys over on that channel tomorrow. Hopefully you'll join me tonight for overtime after the Cowboys game. But if not, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for CNN, obviously first, and then Commanders Kings shortly thereafter. In any event, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. See you next time.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 30.